The FIFA World Cup kicks off on June 11th, but that got me thinking, what if in a Pokemon world, nations didn't send footballers to represent them? What if they sent Pokemon instead? I've taken all 48 World Cup nations, picked the 2 Pokemon that best represent each country, and put them into a tournament using the exact same World Cup format. Except, instead of trying to put a ball in a net, they're trying to knock each other out. By the end of this video, one nation will lift the trophy and be crowned the very first Pokemon World Cup champion. Let's get started. The tournament follows the exact same format as the real FIFA World Cup. The 48 nations have been split into 12 groups of 4 teams. Let's use Group A as an example. Each nation will battle every other nation in their group in a 2v2 Pokemon battle, meaning every team will play 3 matches. A win earns 3 points, a loss earns 0 points, and if a battle somehow ends in a tie, both nations receive 1 point. Once all group stage matches have been completed, the top 2 nations from each group automatically qualify for the knockout rounds. The 8 best third place nations will also advance, giving us a total of 32 teams. From there, it's simple. Round of 32, round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, final. 1 loss and you're out. If you're still not following, let's just jump straight into Group A and see the first round matchups. Before we jump into the battles, leave a comment. Where are you from and which nation do you think is going to win? And then at the end of the video, we can see if you were right. And the first match in Group A is Mexico versus South Africa. South Africa with the team of Pyro and Zebstrika taking on Mexico with the team of Hawlucha and Crocodile. What a matchup to begin the tournament. And to kick things off, Hawlucha swoops in with a close combat, taking out Pyro on 1 hit. Zebstrika going for the double kick on Crocodile. It is super effective but doesn't do too much damage, and a massive earthquake from Crocodile takes out Zebstrika, and just like that, Team Mexico pick up the win. That's right, these matches can end quickly, and up next in Group A we have Czech Republic taking on South Korea. Corviknight and Golem sent out for Czech Republic, taking on Lucario and Gallade for South Korea. What a matchup here. Big Aura Sphere from Lucario almost takes out Golem, but he hangs on, but a Sacred Sword from Gallade is enough to wipe him out before he can do anything. Brave Bird from Corviknight takes out Gallade, and now it's just a one-on-one already. Dark Pulse from Lucario makes Corviknight flinch. A second one almost knocks him out. A big body press, but it's not enough to get the job done. And a third Dark Pulse takes out Corviknight and gives the win to South Korea. Sticking with Czech Republic, they take on South Africa in this next matchup. The 2 losers of the previous matches facing off against each other, Czech Republic and South Africa. And we're going to get started here with a wild charge from Zebstrika, almost taking out Corviknight. Golem's been burned. Body press on Pyro, a big earthquake from Golem almost takes out both Pyro and Zebstrika at once. The burn coming into effect. There's a double kick from Zebstrika, but doesn't do too much damage on the Golem. A Dark Pulse does do a bit of damage, but not enough, and Pyro goes down. Golem is burned and flinched at the same time. A wild charge takes out Corviknight, but it backfires, taking him down too, and Golem, last one standing, picks up the win. The next match is the winner of the first 2 matches as Mexico takes on South Korea. Mexico picked up an easy win against South Africa in the opening match. Can they do the same here against South Korea? Let's find out. Acrobatics from Hawlucha takes out Gallade in 1 hit, and an earthquake from Crocodile takes out Lucario, and just like that, it's a clean sweep from Team Mexico. A massive smash and grab victory for Mexico in that last match, and up next we will see South Korea taking on South Africa. This could be the deciding factor for both teams here, as South Africa are currently on 2 losses and South Korea on 1 win and 1 loss. Both in need of a win here, as South Africa get the game started here, taking out Lucario straight away. Gallade going for a Swords Dance, maybe not the best idea. Wild Charge from Zebstrika, Will-O-Wisp from Pyro, Sacred Sword taking out Pyro as well, and we're down to 1-on-1. Gallade with the burn, a Wild Charge from Zebstrika again, takes out Gallade and gives the win to South Africa. And with that, we have just 1 match left in Group A, which is Mexico taking on Czech Republic. This is still all to play for. Mexico are safe with 6 points at the minute. And Czech Republic currently on 1 win, 1 loss. So they would also still need a win. But here we go. Horlucha with the close combat strategy that's worked out so well so far, but not enough to take out Golem this time. Bravebird does take out Horlucha though. And it's 2-on-1. Stone Edge does connect on Crocodile. Crocodile going for the Earthquake, which does wipe out Golem, but isn't effective on Corvid Knight. And a Body Press doing some damage here. Crocodile going for Stone Edge. It's not enough. And a second Body Press does the job. And Czech Republic pick up a big win. And with that, Group A comes to an end. Czech Republic topping the group with 6 points. Mexico coming in second, also with 6 points. South Africa in third because they picked up a win over South Korea with 3 points. And South Korea eliminated from the competition, coming in last position, even though they still got a win. Unbelievable scenes. Let's move on to Group B. Moving swiftly on to Group B, we have Canada, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Qatar and Switzerland. And the first matchup is going to be between Canada and Bosnia and Herzegovina. And here we go, Canada with Beartick and Aurorus versus Bosnia with Hydreigon and Aegislash. Who's going to pick up the victory here? As a Sacred Sword to Aurorus is taken out in one shot. Beartick going for Hydreigon and misses. Flash Cannon taking out Beartick, and just like that, a clean sweep for Bosnia. Next up is the other side of the group as Qatar take on Switzerland. Qatar taking on Switzerland here. Switzerland with Mamoswine and Watchog. Qatar with Flygon and Salazzle. How's this one going to go? Watchog gets poisoned early. Fire Punch does minimal damage and Icicle Clash takes out Flygon. Hypnosis. Salazzle's asleep, unable to do anything right now. And a Stone Edge takes it out for an easy victory for Switzerland. Up next, the loser of the first 2 matches, Canada taking on Qatar. Both teams in their first round matchups taking rough defeats, but who can come out on top in this one? As we're starting off with a Flamethrower to Beartick, barely hanging on, and a Fire Punch takes it out before it can do anything. Aurorus with an Earth Power taking out Salazzle and went down to 1-on-1. An Earthquake not taking out Aurorus, and Freeze Dry takes out the Flygon for a win for Canada. And up next, the winners of the first 2 matches as Bosnia and Herzegovina take on Switzerland. Both teams picking up convincing victories in their first round matchups, but who's going to come out on top on this one? Let's find out. A Flamethrower to Mamoswine, super effective but barely does anything. An Icicle Clash and Hydreigon just hangs on. Crunch to Aegislash and he switches positions. Sacred Sword and Mamoswine, the beast that it is, still hanging on. King's Shield has went up and Ice Shard takes out Hydreigon. And Watchog tries to put Aegislash to sleep and it fails, and an Earthquake finishes the job with a win for Switzerland. Up next, Bosnia and Herzegovina looking to come back with another victory as they take on Qatar. Bosnia currently on 1 win, 1 loss, and Qatar currently on 2 losses, desperate for a win. Let's see what happens on this one. King's Shield goes up early, Toxic to Hydreigon, and a Dragon Claw almost takes it out, but it holds on. A Draco Meter takes out the Flygon, and we're down to 2-on-1 already. Salazzle going for the Aegislash, not enough with the Flamethrower. Draco Meter goes down to half health, almost out of it. A Shadow Ball connecting to Salazzle, and that will take the win to Bosnia. And just like that, we have 1 match left in Group B as Switzerland take on Canada. Canada currently sitting in 3rd place, but they want another win to guarantee themselves through the next round. Switzerland with 2 wins already, going for a Stone Edge on the Aurorus, almost taking it out. Freeze Dry doing almost half damage, puts Beartick to sleep. Another Stone Edge takes out the Aurorus, and Beartick is unable to do anything. What a strategy from Switzerland. What a team, unbelievably. Almost taking out the Beartick, still holding on, and it takes another Stone Edge to get the job done. And a clean sweep for the group for Switzerland. And this is how Group B ends. Switzerland out on top, a clean sweep of the group with 9 points. Bosnia and Herzegovina going through in second with 6 points. Canada in third with just the one win, and Qatar unfortunately not even getting a win in the group stage, finishing bottom on 0 points. And with that we move to Group C, which includes Brazil, Morocco, Haiti and Scotland, and the first match of the group stage will be Brazil taking on Morocco. And here we go, Brazil versus Morocco. Morocco with Neuwirth and Kammerupt versus Brazil's Ludicolo and Skeptile. And we're starting things off with a Hurricane, which misses a Dragon Claw on Neuwirth and takes it down to almost half health. A Surf almost takes out Kammerupt, surviving on just 1 HP. Eruption does minimal damage. Hurricane almost taking out Ludicolo and is confused. Acrobatics does the job to Kammerupt to take it down, and Ludicolo takes itself out with confusion. Flamethrower is going to do great damage, and a Dragon Claw leaves Neuwirth on 2% health, and a U-turn gets the win for Morocco. What a way to kick off Group C with a very close fight there. But up next we have Haiti taking on Scotland. Haiti with Toxtricity and Primeape taking on Scotland's Obstagoon and Copperja. Close combat doing very little damage to Primeape, to be honest. A close combat of his own takes out the Copperja straight away, 1 hit. Boom Burst almost takes out the Obstagoon. It does take out the Primeape, its own teammate. And another second Boom Burst does the job though. Toxtricity picking up the win for Haiti. The losers of the first round matchups going up against each other next as Brazil take on Scotland. Both teams will be looking for a win here in this second round matchup as Scotland take on Brazil. We're starting things off here with a Leaf Blade, which does minimal damage. A close combat to the Skeptile doesn't do much damage either. Big Surf though taking damage to both Obstagoon and Copperja. Play Rough doing some damage to Ludicolo as well. Acrobatics not doing much. Close combat to Ludicolo still holding on, no one going down yet. The Surf takes out the Obstagoon, Copperja still hanging in, and a Rock Slide takes out both Ludicolo and Skeptile. The win goes to Scotland. Up next, the winners of round 1 matchups as Morocco take on Haiti. Both teams aiming for a place in the next round. Morocco versus Haiti. Who's going to come out on top on this one? A Hurricane to the Primeape takes it out first shot. A Boom Burst almost takes out both Neuwirth and Kammerupt straight away. But Earth Power from Kammerupt takes out Haiti, and the win goes to Morocco. Next up we have Haiti taking on Brazil. Brazil currently pointless, still looking for their first win here in the final match, taking on Haiti, who does have 1 win, 1 loss. We're starting things off with an Acrobatics, which almost takes out the Primeape. An Ice Punch takes Skeptile down to 1 health. Sludge Bomb almost taking out the Ludicolo, who's poisoned now. Surf takes out the Primeape and its own teammate, the Skeptile. Poison almost finishes the job, and a second Sludge Bomb does the rest of the work. Haiti picking up the win. And we're down to the final match of Group C as Morocco take on Scotland. Morocco currently on 2 wins, Scotland 1 win, 1 loss, looking for its second win to top the group potentially, as we're starting things off. A big Flamethrower to Copperja. Close combat to Kammerupt as well, doing decent damage there. A Yawn to the Copperja, trying to make it go to sleep. Play Rough does massive damage to the Neuwirth, almost taking it out. A second Flamethrower taking out the Copperja though. Facade to Kammerupt, almost taking it out. Another Yawn to the Obstagoon. U-turn doing minimal damage. Facade again taking out the Kammerupt, and Obstagoon falls asleep. Now all Neuwirth has to do is take out the Obstagoon. Flamethrower not enough. Draco Meter is though, and with that Morocco get the win. Sleep strategies doing the business for Morocco, just like it did for Switzerland in Group B. But here are the standings for Group C at the end of it. Morocco at the top with all 3 wins, 9 points. Haiti coming in second with 6 points. Scotland in third with 3. And Brazil eliminated from the competition with 0 points. Moving to Group D now, we have the United States, Paraguay, Australia and Turkey. And the first matchup will be United States taking on Paraguay. USA with Bravery and Electivire taking on Paraguay with Breloom and Tropius. Who's going to take on this one? Ice Punch almost taking out Tropius. Brave Bird does take out Breloom. It's looking very one-sided right now. Air Slash doesn't do too much, and a second Ice Punch punch gets the win for the United States. The other members of the group go to war next as Australia take on Turkey. Australia having Kangaskhan and Crobat taking on Turkey with Haxorus and Talonflame. What a matchup here. Bravebird to Crobat does decent damage. Bravebird back to Talonflame does just as much. Earthquake from Haxorus doesn't affect the two birds, but is doing some damage to Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan with an Earthquake back. A mirror match doesn't do much at all to Haxorus. Crobat going for the roost, trying to get some health back. Maybe a smart decision. Outraged Crobat gets it down almost out. Double Edge to Haxorus does damage as well. Flabits takes out the Kangaskhan, and now Crobat's left on its own. A second Outrage does the job, and Turkey picks up the victory. The losers of the first round matchups go against each other next as Australia takes on Paraguay. Both nations wanting their first win in the group stage here as Australia takes on Paraguay. Starting things off with a Brave Bird, a Breloom, and takes it out in one hit. Double Edge to Tropius does an almost half damage, pretty decent. Dragon Pulse not doing much at all there, and a second Brave Bird from Crobat is enough to finish the job. Australia pick up the win. Up next, the winners of the first round as the United States take on Turkey. Both teams looking for a guaranteed spot in the round of 32 with another win here. In the group stages, 2 wins is definitely enough to get through. Starting off with a Flare Blitz to Electivire, which does decent damage. An Earthquake from Haxorus takes out the Electivire, and USA is down to 1. Bravebird takes out the Talonflame though in one hit, and it's a 1v1 fight now as Outrage hits the Bravery, takes it out, and Turkey pick up the win. On to the next match now. It is the United States versus Australia. A win here would cement either team into the next round. Australia versus United States. We're starting with a Cross Poison to the Electivire. It is poisoned. Cross Chop back. Misses. A Double Edge to the Bravery. Does almost half damage. Close combat to the Kangaskhan. Almost takes it out. So close to going down. Brave Bird to the Bravery, and it's out, and it's 2-on-1 now. A Wild Charge to the Crobat takes it out, and we're down to 1 person apiece. Kangaskhan with an Earthquake though is enough to seal the victory and give the win to Australia. And with that, we come to the final match of Group D as Turkey take on Paraguay. Different meaning for both teams here. Turkey trying to top the group, whilst Paraguay just trying to get their first win, clench 3rd place. They could do, but Brave Bird takes out Breloom one shot yet again. Poison Jab to the Tropius, not enough. Dragon Pulse takes out half health, and a Flare Blitz takes out the Tropius, giving the win to Turkey. And with that, Group D comes to an end. Turkey topping the group with 3 wins out of 3, getting 9 points. Australia in second with 2 wins, 6 points. United States coming in third with 3 points, and Paraguay couldn't even get out the starting blocks. The worst performing team so far, 0 points, and is eliminated from the tournament. Moving on to Group E, we have Germany, Curacao, Ivory Coast and Ecuador battling it out to see who moves on in the World Cup. But up first, we have Germany versus Curacao. And here we go. Curacao send out Lapras and Lantern against Germany's Metagross and Magnezone. One of the strongest looking teams on paper. A big Earthquake almost takes out Magnezone and Lantern in one move. A Surf does the job to Magnezone. The second Surf does some extra damage to Metagross and takes out the Lantern, and we're down to 1-on-1 already. A Thunderbolt from the Lapras, not quite enough. An Earthquake, not quite enough. And a second Surf does do the job and gives the win to Curacao. And just like that, one of the strongest looking teams on paper falls in the first match. And up next we have Ivory Coast and Ecuador. Ecuador with a team of Torterra and Altaria taking on Ivory Coast with Luxray and Passimian. What a matchup this is. A Rock Slide to begin with does more damage to Altaria than Torterra, and Altaria is flinched, and Ice Fang doing massive damage to Torterra, and that is flinched as well. Flinch tactics on display here. Another Rock Slide, hoping to do the same thing again. This time not as effective, and Ice Fang misses, but the Torterra is flinched again, and another Rock Slide takes out the Altaria, leaving Torterra such low health, and an Ice Fang gets the win for Ivory Coast. Up next, the losers of round 1 as Germany takes on Ecuador. Both teams looking to get their first win in the tournament, both desperate to move on as Ecuador take on Germany. Starting things off here with a flamethrower to the Magnezone, doing decent damage, a Meteor Mash back to the Altaria and a tri-attack to Torterra. Big Earthquake takes out the Magnezone and does good damage to Metagross as well, and we're down to 2-on-1. A flamethrower almost takes out the Metagross. The Meteor Mash misses, and a second Earthquake does the job and gives the win to Ecuador. Next up, we have Curacao versus Ivory Coast. Both teams looking to cement their place in the round of 32 with a second win here as Curacao take on Ivory Coast. And we're going to get things started with a close combat to the Lapras. One-shot KO. Lapras is down. A wild charge to the Lantern, not effective at all. Surf doing okay damage to both members. Another close combat doing very good damage to the Lantern. And a Crunch almost taking it out, not quite enough. Ice Beam not enough to take out Persimmon. And another close combat does the job and gives the win to Curacao. To Ivory Coast, sorry. And after that, we'll be seeing Ecuador taking on Curacao. Both teams currently on 1 win, 1 loss. Another win will cement their place in the round of 32. Although it could have been enough to get third position either way. And right now, Freeze Dry to the Torterra takes it out. We are down to 2-on-1 already. A Moonblast not doing very much damage at all. An Ice Beam to the Altaria and almost wipes it out. And a second Freeze Dry does the job and gives the win to Curacao. And it's time for the final match of the group as Ivory Coast take on Germany. Unfortunately, the group is already decided by this point. Ivory Coast, even if they lose, do top the group, and Germany, even though being such a great team on paper, have lost to the other two teams already, meaning even if they win, they still finish bottom of the group and are eliminated from the tournament. Big Earthquake though to the Ivory Coast team. Does take out the Magnezone though, a knockoff almost taking out the Metagross, and a Crunch does the job and cements Ivory Coast at the top of the group. And here is the Group E standings. Ivory Coast finish at the top of the group with 9 points. Curacao shocking the world, making it through to the next round with 6 points. Ecuador getting just 1 win, but it is enough to take third place. And Germany, the biggest upset of the tournament, eliminated from the competition with 0 points. And with that, we move on to Group F, which is Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia. And the first matchup will be Netherlands versus Japan. And here we go, Japan with Dragonite and Scizor taking on Netherlands with Floatzel and Swanna. Interesting matchup here. Extreme speed to start off, hitting back with an Ice Spinner. Hurricane misses on the Scizor. Close combat of the Floatzel does decent damage, also lowering the defense and speed of Scizor. Ice Spinner to the Dragonite takes it down, and we're down to 2-on-1. A Hurricane actually connects that time. Second close combat to Floatzel takes it out, and we are down to 1-on-1. Scizor versus Swanna. Swanna with the Roost. Close combat to the Swanna doesn't do enough, and that could be all she wrote. There's a Surf to the Scizor, and we have a winner in Netherlands. Up next, we have Sweden taking on Tunisia. And here we go, Sweden with Abomasnow and Glaceon taking on Tunisia with Sigilyph and Sandslash. Interesting matchup yet again. A massive heat wave to start off, super effective against both. Ice Beam to the Sigilyph takes it down though, and there's a Rock Slide which takes out the Abomasnow. And now we're down to 1-on-1 very quickly. Glaceon versus Sandslash. There's a second Rock Slide, not quite enough. There's another Ice Beam though, and Glaceon with the sweep, getting the win for Sweden. Up next, we've got Japan against Tunisia. Both teams looking to pick up their first win in the competition, but only one team can do so. Who is it going to be? Starting off with a big heat wave, taking out the Scizor, one shot. Dragon Dance from the Dragonite, maybe not the best move there. Rock Slide doing almost half health damage. Extreme Speed not doing enough to take out the Sigilyph. There's a Psychic and a second Rock Slide, and it's another win on the board, this time for Tunisia. Up next, the winners of the first round as the Netherlands take on Sweden. A potential top of the group decider here, Netherlands versus Sweden. How is this one going to go? Let's find out right now. Wave Crash to start off. not doing the most damage there. Hurricane misses from Swanna. Freeze Dry to the Swanna, takes it out one shot. Woodhammer to the Floatzel, and it also takes it out one shot. And it's a quick and easy win for Sweden. And straight after that, Netherlands are back again, this time taking on Tunisia. And here we go on this one, Netherlands versus Tunisia. Tunisia looking for a second win. Can they do so? A big wave crash almost takes out the Sand Slash in one, but not quite enough. There's a Surf though, which does do the rest of the damage. And Floatzel gets taken out by a Psychic, and we're down to one-on-one. Hurricane connecting that time. There's a Psychic to the Swanna, and it is a close match. Hurricane missing for the third time in the group stage, and Psychic takes down the Swanna and gives the win to Tunisia. And we're down to the final matchup here as Japan take on Sweden. Japan desperate for a win in this one. They need some points on the board, taking on the group leaders Sweden. Let's see what happens here. Fire Punch to the Abominous Stone, not quite enough to take it out. Shadow Ball to the Scissor, not doing the most damage. Close Combat to the Glaceon, half health. Right now, Japan in the lead, but a big Blizzard taking out the Dragonite in one shot. That's going to change everything here. Shadow Ball to the Scissor, and it is game over just like that. Sweden with the win. And with that, Group F comes to an end. Sweden at the top of the group, getting 3 wins out of 3, 9 points. Tunisia finishing second, also advancing onwards with 2 wins, 6 points. Netherlands coming in third with 1 win, 3 points. And Japan, unfortunately, not doing as well as maybe predicted with their team matchups. But yeah, finishing bottom of the group, 0 points. We're at the halfway stage of the group stage, and here is how it's currently looking. Czech Republic and Mexico moving forwards from Group A. Switzerland and Bosnia moving forward from Group B. Morocco and Haiti from Group C. Turkey and Australia from Group D. Ivory Coast and Curacao from Group E. And Sweden and Tunisia from Group F. Some of those third place teams also advancing as 8 of the top 12 third place teams move forward. So that's how it's looking. Have we already seen the World Cup winners in action? Who knows? But let's jump in to Group G and the next round matchups. Group G consists of Belgium, Egypt, Iran and New Zealand, and we're going to kick things straight off with Belgium versus Egypt. And here we go, Team Belgium with King Gambit and God of War versus Egypt with Cofagrigus and Runerigus. What a team there. Kowtow Cleave taking out the Runerigus. I can't even speak for this one. Body Press almost taking out the King Gambit. Moonblast to Cofagrigus, and another Kowtow Cleave does the job and gives the win to Team Belgium. Up next we've got Iran versus New Zealand. Team Iran with Persian and Arcanine taking on New Zealand with, is that Tim Payne? No, it's not, it's Sharpedo and Dodrio. Starting off with a Play Rough, almost taking out Sharpedo. Jump Kick to the Persian, not enough to take it down. Flare Blitz, not taking out the Dodrio either. And Liquidation, not enough to take out the Arcanine. Everyone getting attacked here in this one. Extreme Speed, taking out the Dodrio. There's a Crunch, not quite enough, hanging on with just 1% health. And a Play Rough is enough to get the job done and give the win to Iran. And up next we have Egypt taking on New Zealand. Both teams looking to get out the starting blocks here, hoping for a win in this one as Egypt take on New Zealand. And we're going to start off strong with a Brave Bird to the Cofagrigus, doing some decent damage there. Liquidation to the Runerigus, doing massive damage as well. Body Press to the Sharpedo, taking it out one shot, and we are down to 2-on-1. There's another Body Press. The Egypt gang going hard on the Body Presses. The Brave Bird takes out Runerigus, and we're down to 1-on-1. Will-O-Wisp to Dodrio. It is burned. It will do damage each turn. Brave Bird not enough to take out Cofagrigus. The burn taking effect, and there's another Body Press, giving the win to Team Egypt. Next up, Belgium versus Iran. And here we go, Belgium versus Iran, a matchup for the ages. Who's going to come out on top on this one though? Starting off with a Play Rough to the King Gambit, which does very minimal damage, but a Flare Blitz does massive damage, getting the burn, leaving on extremely low health. A Moonblast doing decent damage as well. But the King Gambit goes down to the burn. And we're down to 2-on-1 already. Another Flare Blitz to the God of War does massive, massive damage. Moonblast takes out the Persian. And it's 1-on-1 at an extreme speed. Does the rest of the job to give the win to Iran. Following that, we have Belgium taking on New Zealand. Another big matchup here as Belgium looking for their second win, hopefully, against the team of New Zealand, Sharpedo and Dodrio. King Gambit almost getting taken out in one shot. Liquidation not enough to take out the God of War, but a Moonblast is enough to take out the Sharpedo. And we're down to 2-on-1. A quick attack takes out the King Gambit, but God of War can just sweep up with another Moonblast, giving the win to Belgium. And we're down to the final match of the group as Egypt take on Iran. And here comes the final match of the group. Still all to play for these teams. But who is going to come out on top on this one? Knockoff to Grigas doesn't do too much damage. It's a decent start though with a crunch. Super effective but not down to half health yet. Body press to the Persian almost wipes it out completely. And an Earthquake does the job. Takes out the Persian. Arcanine just over half health remaining. Doesn't do much damage to Grigas. And we're stuck with a 2-on-1 fight here. A Shadow Claw not doing too much either to the Arcanine. Shadow Ball to the Arcanine though is enough to take it out eventually and give the win to Egypt. What a mixture of results there in Group G. Belgium do top the group, coming in with 2 wins, 6 points. Egypt in second with 2 wins and 6 points. And Iran finishing third also with 2 wins and 6 points. New Zealand coming last with 0 wins, 0 points. Now the way this has worked with Belgium coming first, Egypt second and Iran third, depends on, well, goal difference, I guess. So Belgium over the course of their 3 matches knocked out 6 Pokemon and also had the least amount of team deaths too, meaning they topped the group. Egypt was second, Iran third in that order, which is how it is. Iran though, finishing on 2 wins, are most likely to get through to the next round either way, finishing in the 3rd position. Moving on to Group H though, we have Spain, Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia and Uruguay, and we're going to kick things off with Spain versus Cape Verde. And here we go with the first match of Group H. Cape Verde with Kingdra and Mantine taking on Spain with Meowscarada and Ceruledge. And a Flower Trick plus Close Combat almost taking out the Kingdra in turn number 1. A Hydro Pump misses. Hurricane very effective on the Meowscarada, and a Shadow Sneak is enough to take out the Kingdra. Flower Trick on the Mantine, critical hit, almost takes it out, and Ice Beam is enough to take out Meowscarada. And another Shadow Sneak is enough to give the win to Spain. And on the other side of the group we have Saudi Arabia taking on Uruguay. And here we go, Saudi Arabia with Cacturn and Skarmory against Uruguay with Poliwrath and Taurus. Interesting team matchups here. A Close Combat, and Cacturn hangs on with just 1 HP. A Drain Punch is enough to do the rest of the job though. Brave Bird doing decent damage to the Poliwrath. Close Combat to the Skarmory, not doing much at all. And a Roost from the Skarmory retrieves its health back up to full. Liquidation, not doing much damage either. Another Close Combat from the Skarmory, again not doing too much. Another Liquidation. Brave Bird takes out the Poliwrath, and Skarmory is on very low health now, and an easy way to sweep up the rest of the match with another Close Combat from Taurus, giving the win to Uruguay. Up next, Cape Verde versus Saudi Arabia. And the losers of round 1 battling it out this time, Cape Verde versus Saudi Arabia. We're going to start off here with a Hurricane to the Cacturn doing massive damage. Brave Bird not doing too much, and an Ice Beam takes out the Cacturn, leaving this as a 2-on-1 battle going forward. Hydro Pump misses from the Kingdra. Ice Beam connects but doesn't do too much. Iron Head also not doing too much to the Kingdra. Another Hydro Pump that time connects and gives the win to Cape Verde. Winners collide as Spain takes on Uruguay. The winners of the first round going off against each other now. Spain versus Uruguay. Only one can take the win in this one. Flower Trick connects to the Poliwrath. Massive damage. Close Combat doing massive damage to the Meowscarada as well. Close combat to the Taurus, massive damage. Everyone getting hurt in this one. Liquidation to the Cerulege, and it is down. 2-on-1 fight. Triple Axel misses from Meowscarada, and a close combat does the damage and gives the win to Uruguay. Following that, we have Saudi Arabia versus Spain. And here we go, Saudi Arabia versus Spain. Still looking to advance onwards in the next round of the competition as a U-turn takes out the Cacturn straight away. Bitter Blade goes for the Skarmory, almost takes it out. Brave Bird takes out the Meowscarada, and the recoil is enough to take out the Skarmory, and Spain is left as the winner. And the final matchup of the group as Cape Verde take on Uruguay. And now for the final matchup of the group, Cape Verde taking on Uruguay. Trying to top the group is Uruguay as the Raging Bull hits the Kingdra. Hurricane misses. Ice Punch to the Kingdra, not doing too much damage either. Another Hurricane missing again. Zen Headbutt to the Mantine. Draco Meter that time connecting, doing big damage to the Taurus. Drain Punch to the Kingdra, almost takes it out completely. Hurricane connecting to the Poliwrath that time. Hits big and confuses. Hydro Pump missing again. Another Surf retrieving the health of Poliwhirl. Takes out the Kingdra, almost kills the Taurus, and an Ice Punch also on 1 health, and a Trailblaze from the Taurus for the victory. Very close fight, and the winner is Uruguay. What a group, and this is how it ends for Group H as Uruguay come out on top, 3 wins, 9 points. Spain in second place, 2 wins, 6 points. Cape Verde getting a solo win there against Saudi Arabia to secure 3 points, and Saudi Arabia coming last with 0 points. And continuing on to Group I, we have France, Senegal, Iraq and Norway, and the first matchup of the group is going to be France versus Senegal. And the first match of Group I commences as Senegal sends out Hitmonlee and Zangoose against France's Delphox and Melodic. Interesting team matchups here. Dazzling Gleam to start off, Shadow Claw to the Delphox with a knockoff, takes out the Delphox completely. Ice Beam to the Zangoose, freezes it, but it is not out. Close combat to the Melodic, doing decent damage as well. Zangoose is still frozen. A Surf takes out the Zangoose. Hitmonlee on very low health, and a close combat to the Melodic is enough to get the job done and gives the win to Senegal. And we'll move over to the other side of the group now as Iraq take on Norway. And here we go on the other side of the group. Iraq with Marowak and Dusknoir taking on Norway with Walrein and Frostmoth. Whoa, a mouthful for me to say, that's for sure. Giga Drain to the Marowak does take it out. Thunder Punch to the Walrein doing decent damage but not enough. Giga Drain again and an Ice Beam to the Dusknoir. It's getting overwhelmed right now. Thunder Punch still not enough to take out the Walrein, and an Ice Beam does do the job and gives the win to Norway. Next up, it's France versus Iraq. Next, the losers of the first round matchups, France versus Iraq. And here we go in this one, starting things off with a Dazzling Gleam, doing very minimal damage. An Ice Beam to the Marowak, almost taking it out. Yeah, there's an Earthquake, doing big damage to the Delphox. Thunder Punch to the Melodic, doing decent damage as well. Another Dazzling Gleam does take out the Marowak. Recover from Melodic, regain on health, and a Thunder Punch, not enough to take it down though. Flamethrower to the Marowak, to the Dusknoir, sorry, is enough to give the win to Team France. Following that, we have Norway taking on Senegal. And the winners of the first round matchups, Norway versus Senegal. Big matchup here to hopefully top the group. Close combat to the Walrein, doing big damage. And another close combat to the Walrein, double teamed by Senegal, takes out Walrein. And now we're down to 2-on-1. Facade, double health, half health, and a Blaze Kick does the rest of the damage, and Senegal pick up the win. Up next, Iraq versus Senegal. And we are back with Iraq versus Senegal. Senegal wanting to finish the group on top with another win here. Super effective Shadow Claw to the Dusknoir. Close combat to the Marowak, doing big damage as well. Will-O-Wisp missing. Boomerang to the Zangoose, doing some decent damage as well there. Another close combat to the Marowak, takes it out, and we are down to 2-on-1. Knockoff to the Dusknoir, almost does the job. An Ice Punch to Hitmonlee. And another Shadow Claw to the Dusknoir does the job and gives Senegal the win. And it's time for the final match of the group as Norway take on France. And for the final match of the group, we have Norway taking on France here in this one. Flamethrower to the Frostmoth straight away, almost takes it out. Dragon Pulse doing very minimal damage. Earthquake does take out the Frostmoth there. Sidekick doing decent damage to the Wall Rain. Dragon Pulse again. A big Earthquake again almost takes out Delphox, but not quite enough. A Mystical Fire is enough to get the job done though and gives the win to France. And with that, Group I comes to an end. Senegal topping the group, 3 wins out of 3 with 9 points. France still managing to fight their way through to the next round with 6 points. Norway finishing on 3 points, and Iraq bottom of the group and eliminated from the tournament. 0 wins, 0 points. Moving on to Group J now, we have Argentina, Algeria, Austria and Jordan. And the first matchup of the group will be Argentina versus Algeria. And here we go, Argentina with Cinderace and Lokex taking on Algeria with Drapion and Scrafty. And here we go. First impression is a small one, doesn't do too much damage. A high jump kick does almost half health. Poison jab to the Lokex does decent amount. Drain punch similar again, Scrafty getting some health back. And Pyro Ball doing some okay damage as well. A big earthquake hurting a lot. Another drain punch from the Scrafty trying to get some health back. Another Pyro Ball takes out the Scrafty, and we're down to 1-on-1. Poison jab as well. U-turn does very little damage to Drapion, and another poison jab for the win for Algeria. And on the other side of the group we have Jordan versus Austria. And on the other side of the bracket, Jordan with Kommo-o and Gligar taking on Austria with Weevil and Noctowl. Here we go, triple axle to begin. Big damage, takes out the Gligar, 1-hit KO. Aura Sphere to the Weavile, taking that out as well, and we're already down to 1-on-1. Hypnosis to the Kommo-o, it is asleep, it can't do anything, and Noctowl is just going to Psychic spam now. And is it going to get the job done though? Kommo-o wakes up, clanging scales, but not enough damage, and another Psychic takes out the Kommo-o and gives the win to Austria. Up next, Argentina take on Jordan. Next up, the losers of the first round matchups as Argentina take on Jordan. And here we go, high jump kick to the Kommo-o to start things off, and a throat chop to the Gligar. Flamethrower to the Lokex does very big damage, and Acrobatics takes it out of the running, and we're down to 2-on-1 here. Another high jump kick, not enough damage. Dragon Pulse doing some decent work there, and an Earthquake takes out the Cinderace and gives the win to Jordan. And the next matchup is Austria versus Algeria. And the winners of the first round, Austria, are taking on Algeria in this matchup. And here we go. Starting things off with a low kick to the Scrafty, not doing too much damage. A poison jab to the Weavile, doing quite a lot. Hypnosis to the Drapion, it is asleep. A drain punch takes out the Weavile and regains the health of Scrafty, and it is 2-on-1. Hypnosis misses the Scrafty though. Ice punch to the Noctowl. Drapion wakes up as well, and a crunch takes out the Noctowl and gives the win to Algeria. Following that, we have Argentina versus Austria. Argentina versus Austria in this one. Argentina looking for a win, anything they can get. Triple axle to the Lokex does very little damage. A high jump kick misses. Cinderace goes flying. A throat chop to the Noctowl. Cinderace is now asleep. Sucker Punch misses as well. A knockoff to the Cinderace. Cinderace still sleeping. Hypnosis to the Lokex as well. Both members of Team Argentina are asleep right now. Ice Shard doing decent damage. An Air Slash to the Lokex, and it is down and out. Cinderace still asleep as it gets low kicked, and Austria pick up the win. And for the final matchup of the group, we have Jordan against Algeria. And the final match of the group as Jordan take on Algeria in this one. Here we go. How is this one going to turn out? A poison jab to begin on Kommo-o, doesn't do too much. Acrobatics doing big damage to the Scrafty though. Aura Sphere also targeted on Scrafty, and we're down to 2-on-1 already. Another poison jab, not doing too much. Clanging Scales, a big attack there. And an Earthquake to the Drapion takes it out and gives the win to Jordan. And here's how Group J ends. After that one, another mix of wins here across the group. But Jordan come out on top with 6 points. Algeria in second, also with 6 points. And Austria finishing third, also on 6 points. Argentina eliminated from the competition with 0 wins, 0 points. Moving on to Group K now, we have Portugal, DR Congo, Uzbekistan and Colombia. And the first matchup of the group will be Portugal taking on DR Congo. And here we go with the first round matchup. Portugal with Houndoom and Banette taking on DR Congo with Rillaboom and Conqueror. Flamethrower Rillaboom almost taking it out early. Knockoff doing decent damage as well. Conqueror now paralyzed, and a Drain Punch to the Houndoom takes it out one shot. Sucker Punch to the Rillaboom takes it down, and we are 1-on-1, but another knockoff will do the job and give the win to DR Congo. The other side of the group, we have Colombia taking on Uzbekistan. Up next, Colombia with Oricorio and Chatot taking on Uzbekistan with Bishop and Gliscor. Starting things off here, trying to take out both the birds at once here. Revelation Dance to the Bishop almost knocks it out in one hit. A Heat Wave does do the rest of the damage there, and now we're 2-on-1, all the birds out right now. Another Elevation Dance to Gliscor does decent damage, and a Boom Burst double hit KO, taking out his teammate, but enough for Colombia to get the win. Up next, the losers of the first round battle it out against each other as Portugal take on Uzbekistan. The losers of the first round, Portugal and Uzbekistan, going at it in this one. Only one can walk away with the winner. Sucker Punch taking out Banette turn 1. Flamethrower to the Bishop taking that out as well. And a massive Earthquake taking out the Houndoom. And the quickest match yet, Uzbekistan picking up the win. Up next, the winners of the first round as Colombia take on DR Congo. The winners of the first round matchups, Colombia taking on DR Congo in this one. The birds trying to get their second win here. Almost taking out Rillaboom there. Big damage from the birds. Conqueror confused, and Knockoff not doing too much. Stone Edge missing. Hurricane connects to the Conqueror, taking that out, and a Heat Wave to the Rillaboom is enough for Team Birds Colombia picking up the win. And the next match is Uzbekistan versus the Dominican Republic of Congo. Okay, we have Uzbekistan taking on DR Congo in this one. Dual Wing Beat missing to begin the fight. Wood Hammer to the Gliscor doing very big damage. A Sword Stance by the Bishop and a Drain Punch knocking it out. Bishop useless in this one. Dual Beat to the Rillaboom doing pretty big damage there, but it is a 2-on-1 now, and a Wood Hammer will be enough to pick up the win for DR Congo. And for the final match of the group, we have Portugal facing off against Colombia. And it's time for the final match of the group as Portugal take on Colombia. The Birds of Prey unable to be defeated so far. Maybe it'll all change here. Big Hurricane to Banette almost takes it out. Chatter to the Houndoom confuses it. Thunder Wave paralyzes Oricorio. Flamethrower to the Shatter takes it out, and we're 2-on-1 now. Destiny Bond by the Banette. A Hurricane misses again for the second time. Sucker Punch connects. Dark Pulse connects. Oricorio in trouble now. Hurricane finally connects and takes out the Banette. Houndoom hurt by confusion. Oricorio with the Roost getting some health back. Sludge Bomb connects. A Hurricane connects, but not quite enough. Houndoom snaps out of confusion, hits the Sludge Bomb for the win, and a victory for Portugal. And this is how Group K ends. Colombia topping the group, 2 wins out of 3. DR Congo also making it through to the next round with 2 wins. Uzbekistan clinching 3rd place with a win over Portugal, who finished bottom, even though they did get a win at the end. Still not enough to get through to the next round and will be eliminated from the tournament. And for the final group of the group stage, we have Group L, which consists of England, Croatia, Ghana and Panama. And the first match of the group will be between England and Croatia. Time for the final group stage matches. England with Sirfetch'd and Bolton versus Croatia with Gyarados and Drudigon. Here we go. Thunderfang to the Gyarados, taking it out in one shot, and a close combat to the Druddigon, almost taking that out as well. 2-on-1 fight now. A Gunk Shot doing quite a lot of damage, but not quite enough. And a Play Rough gives the win to England. Next match, the other side of the group, as Ghana take on Panama. On to the next matchup, we have Ghana with Hitmonchan and Electros versus Panama with Hariyama and Cramorant. Thunder Punch to the Cramorant, taking that out, one shot KO, and a Thunderbolt to the Hariyama doing decent damage as well. Close combat to the Electros, almost taking that out, and a Drain Punch to the Hariyama, not quite enough. Close combat taking out Electros, and we're down to 1-on-1. Hitmonchan with an Ice Punch though, taking down Hariyama and getting the win to Ghana. After that battle, we have Croatia versus Panama. Next match, Croatia versus Panama. Both teams looking for their first win in this one. Needing it to get through the next round. An Ice Beam to Druddigon to start off. Waterfall to Hariyama. Close combat to the Druddigon as well. Not enough to take it out. Gunk Shot to the Hariyama is enough to take that out though. And we're 2-on-1 now. Ice Beam to the Druddigon takes it out. And it's 1-on-1. Crunch to Cramorant. Cramorant going for the Hurricane, which doesn't do too much, and Ice Fang misses from Gyarados. Another Hurricane connects, but not enough. Another Crunch to Cramorant, and another Hurricane to the Gyarados is enough to take it out and gets the win for Panama. Up next, England take on Ghana. The winners of the first round, England take on Ghana here in this one. Going to be a close fight here. Play Rough to the Hitmonchan, doing decent damage. A Drain Punch to the Bolton, regaining a lot of that health. A Brave Bird though takes out the Hitmonchan either way though. Giga Drain to the Surfetched. Fire Fang to Electros, a critical hit, and it's burned. Close combat to Electros as well though, and that's enough to get the job done, giving the win to England. Trying to get some more points, Ghana take on Croatia. On to the next match, we have Ghana versus Croatia in this one. Both teams looking for a win. Ice Fang to the Hitmonchan to start things off. A Thunder Punch back to the Gyarados does a lot of damage, and a Thunderbolt takes it out. Double teaming the Gyarados there. Gunk Shot to Electros doesn't do too much. Ice Fang to Druddigon, and we have a knockoff to the Druddigon as well, which does very little damage. Gunk Shot missing this time. Another Ice Punch to the Druddigon, and a knockoff from Electros as well does the job and gives the win to Ghana. And it's time for the final match of the group stage as England face off against Panama. And the final group stage matchup, England versus Panama. England wanting to top the group. Can they do so? Thunderfang to Cramorant takes it out in one hit. Brave Bird to the Hariyama also almost does the same. Close combat, almost taking out Bolton now. Bullet Punch to the Surfetch doesn't do much, and a Play Rough from Bolton gets the win for England. Here are the final group points for Group L. England topping the group with 9 points. Ghana coming in second with 6. Panama with 3 points. And Croatia eliminated with 0 wins, 0 points. And after all is said and done, this is what the group stage has ended like. A lot of big names making it through to the next round. Is your pick from the start of the video still in the competition? Leave another comment, let me know. Are they taking it all the way and winning the whole thing? Potentially so. And with that, let's check out what the matches are like for the round of 32. And this is what the round of 32 is looking like. A lot of big names in there, a lot of the third position teams you can now see have entered into the tournament, including Scotland, which is going to be the very first match of the round of 32 as they take on Ivory Coast. And here we go with the first round of 32 matchup as Ivory Coast take on Scotland. Who is going to advance on into the next round in this one? We're starting things off with a close combat, which does very minimal damage on the Persimmon. Close combat back to the Obstagoon, knocks it out in one. That's how you do it. Wild Charge to the Copperjar does decent damage as well. Play Rough almost knocks out the Persimmon, but not quite enough. And there's another close combat, and it gives the win to Ivory Coast. Time for the next matchup as Senegal takes on Cape Verde. Only one team advances in this knockout round. Senegal versus Cape Verde. Who is going to progress? We're starting things off with a critical hit Shadow Claw, which doesn't do too much. Close combat, not enough to take out the Kingdra. Here comes a Hurricane, sweeping away the Hitmonlee, and a Surf also hitting the Zangoose as well. There's a quick attack to finish off the Kingdra, and we're down to 1-on-1. Ice Beam, not quite enough. There's a close combat, which does very minimal damage, and another Surf to the Zangoose, takes it out and gives the win to Cape Verde. Next up, Mexico versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. And here we go. Mexico versus Bosnia. Only one can advance. And this is a big matchup here. Both teams strong in the opening rounds. A close combat of the Hydreigon to begin things. Not quite enough to knock it out. A Flamethrower to the Crocodile, doing okay damage as well. There's an Earthquake. It does massively affect the Aegislash, almost taking it out. A Sacred Sword to the Crocodile, almost taking that out as well. And everyone's getting damaged here, apart from the Hawlucha, who's hanging in strong. And Acrobatics, and down goes Hydreigon. Crunch doesn't affect the Aegislash, and Acrobatics does though, and Mexico pick up the win. Next fight, Sweden versus Haiti. Haiti shocking the world getting this fight in the competition, but they take on a strong team of Sweden who swept the group. Who's going to advance in this one? A close combat to begin things to the Abomasnow, almost taking it out straight away. Sludge Bomb, double hitting the Abomasnow, takes it out, and an Ice Beam to the Primeape. We're down to 1-on-1 already. A Boom Burst doing big damage. Ice Beam to the Toxtricity as well, doing good damage as well. A second Overdrive now to the Glaceon, and we have a winner in Haiti. A Battle of the African Nations next as DR Congo takes on Ghana. Here we go, big matchup here. Dominican Republic of Congo taking on Ghana in this round of 32 matchup. A Wood Hammer to begin things to the Electros, not enough to take it out. An Ice Punch to the Rillaboom, also not enough. There's a Flamethrower to follow up, though it does take out the Rillaboom, and we're down to 2-on-1. A Drain Punch doing massive damage to the Hitmonchan. Drain Punch back to the Conkeldurr, regaining some health. There's a Giga Drain as well. Everyone's regaining health in this one. Stone Edge missing. There's another Drain Punch, critical hit, and it gives the win to Ghana. Up next is Uruguay versus Algeria. And here we go. Uruguay versus Algeria. Both teams did very well in the group stage, but only one can advance now in the round of 32. Close combat to the Scrafty to begin. Does decent damage there. Poison Jab to the Taurus. Drain Punch to the Scrafty as well, getting double team. Drain Punch back to the Taurus, almost knocking it out. And a close combat to the Scrafty again. Still no one down yet in this one, but there's a big Earthquake from Drapion, taking out Scrafty and Taurus at once. And we're down to the heavy hitters of the teams. An Earthquake doing very little damage. Liquidation doing very little damage. It's just back and forth here. Poison Jab, Drain Punch, no one going down. These two monsters are staying up in this one. Back-to-back hits. No one wants to go down in this one. Everyone wants to advance. An Earthquake, still not enough. And an Ice Punch finishes the job and gives the win to Uruguay. Next up, Turkey versus the United States. This is a big matchup here. One of the host nations in the United States could potentially be eliminated right now in this one. Let's see how it goes. A Flare Blitz to begin on the Bravery, doing some decent damage. And an Outrage to the Electivire, takes it out in one shot. Close combat to the Haxorus, doing okay damage as well, but we're down to 2-on-1 already. And a Flare Blitz again, that time doing more damage, and Turkey pick up the victory. Belgium versus Iran up next. Belgium versus Iran. Here we go, big teams, big fight feel in this one. Only one can advance. Player rough to begin with on the God of War. Flare Blitz to the King Gambit, doing decent damage, and it's burnt as well. Psychic to the Persian, followed by Katao Cleave, not enough to take it out though. And a Fake Out misses there. Flare Blitz to the God of War, and God of War is down. It's 2-on-1 now. An Iron Head to the Persian, and it's 1-on-1. King Gambit getting hurt by its burn though, and another Flare Blitz is enough to get the job done and give the win to Iran. And the next one is Morocco versus Tunisia. Morocco with Noivern and Camerupt versus Tunisia with Sigalith and Sand Slash. A good duo there. The Draco meter almost takes out the Sand Slash in one hit. Psychic to the Noivern and a Rock Slide doing damage to both members of Team Morocco. Ancient Power doing decent damage to the Sigalith as well. Draco meter missing that second time, and a Psychic knocks out the Noivern. An Earthquake doing a lot of damage to the Camerupt. Ancient Power not enough to take out Sigalith, and an Air Slash to the Camerupt is enough to get the job done and give the win to Tunisia. And next up, it's Curacao versus France. Curacao, another one of those teams that is lucky to be this far in the competition, taking on Team France, a big team here. Psychic to the Lapras to begin the fight. Dragon Pulse also targeting the Lapras. A Thunderbolt to the Melodic doing decent damage as well. Freeze Dry also to the Melodic, almost enough to take it out, but not quite enough. Psychic does take out the Lapras. And a Big Surf doing damage to both Melodic and Delphox in that one. Dazzling Gleam back to the Lantern, not doing much. Recover from the Melodic, playing it safe. A Thunderbolt does not take it out. There's a big Psychic as well. Another Recover from the Melodic, just hanging on. Another Thunderbolt, not enough to take it out, and the Psychic does the job and gives the win to Team France. Up next, Czech Republic taking on the Netherlands. Czech Republic with the team of Corviknight and Golem taking on the Netherlands with Floatzel and Swanna. Wave Crash, to the Golem. Not quite enough to take it out, but a Surf does the job though, and Golem's gone before it can even get started. A Brave Bird of the Floatzel takes that out as well, and we're already down to 1-on-1. Air Slash not doing too much. Brave Bird of the Swanna doing a lot. And another Surf takes out the Corviknight and gives the win to Netherlands. Next up, England versus Ecuador. England with a great group stage performance from Sirfetch'd and Boltund, but this time taking on Ecuador with Altaria and Torterra. A big team, strong team. Double focused on the Torterra, not quite enough to take it out. A Moonblast doing big damage to the Sirfetch'd, and an Earthquake taking out Boltund and almost Sirfetch'd as well. Moonblast follow-up is enough, and England's down. Ecuador get the win. Next up, it's Jordan versus Spain. Here we go, Jordan doing very well in the group stage as well, with Komo-O and Gligar taking on Spain with Meowscarada and Ceruledge. A triple Axel to begin things here. Double hitting the Gligar, taking it out, and we're down to 2-on-1 already. Close combat not doing much at all there. Flamethrower to the Meowscarada takes it out, and it's 1-on-1 already. Swords Dance from the Ceruledge. Dragon Pulse doing decent damage. Clanging Scales also enough to take out Spain, and Jordan gets the win. Fan favourite matchup next as Australia take on Egypt. Big matchup here, two fan favourite teams, Kangaskhan and Crobat versus Cofagrigus and Runerigus. Sucker Punch to the Cofagrigus, not doing too much to begin this fight. Brave Bird to the Cofagrigus as well, doing some decent damage there in that one. Body Press to the Kangaskhan, doing a lot of damage, and a second Body Press, enough to take it out. And just like that, we're down to 2-on-1. Brave Bird again to Cofagrigus, takes that out. And now it's a 1-on-1 fight. A Shadow Claw from the Runerigus. Roost from Crobat, back to full health. Shadow Claw again, not doing too much. Another Brave Bird critical hit, just past half health there. Another Shadow Claw critical hit that time. Crobat almost out. There's another Roost though, regaining some health. Another Shadow Claw. And another Roost regaining some health yet again. Another Shadow Claw. It's just back and forward, back and forward. There's another Brave Bird, not quite enough. And another Shadow Claw, and also not enough. Second Brave Bird hits and gives the win to Australia. Switzerland versus Austria next. Massive matchup here as both teams used the same tactic in the group stage round, putting the other opponent to sleep. Is that going to work in this one though? Low kick to begin. Icicle Crash to the Noctowl takes it out. Hypnosis to the Weavile, and this one is looking one-sided already. A massive Stone Edge connects, and a quick win to Switzerland. And time for the final match of the round of 32 as Colombia take on Uzbekistan. Another fan favourite in Colombia as Team Bird takes on Uzbekistan. Big Ooze Energy. Sucker Punch to the Shadow to begin with and a knockoff. Revelation Dance connects to the Bishop. Not quite enough to take it out, but a Heat Wave will finish the job and we're down to 2-on-1 early. Dual Wing Beat connecting to the Oricorio and we're full of birds and bats in this one. Chatter from the Shadot doing the damage and giving the win to Team Colombia. The herd is thinning. We are down to the final few teams here in this one. Only 16 teams remaining. Who is going to make it to the end? Is your team that you predicted at the start still in it? Let me know. Leave another comment. Let me know. But here we go in the round of 16. And we're going to kick things off with Ivory Coast versus Cape Verde. And here we go. It's getting exciting. Getting into the round of 16. Not many teams remaining as Ivory Coast take on Cape Verde in this one. Starting things off with a Hurricane which misses. Rock Slide to both Mantine and Kingdra doing some decent damage there. Mantine flinched and a Wild Charge from the Luxray takes it out. And we're down to 2-on-1. Another Hurricane missing from the Kingdra and a close combat connects. Almost enough to do the job. And another Wild Charge is enough. And Ivory Coast getting an easy win in that one. And it's Mexico versus Haiti up next. Mexico also having a really decent run so far in the tournament, I guess as of all teams at this point. But here we go in this one, Mexico versus Haiti. Who's going to advance on? Acrobatics to begin with to the Primate, takes it out straight away, and an Earthquake connects to the Toxtricity, and Haiti doesn't get to do anything. Mexico with a big win. And up next it is Ghana taking on Uruguay. And here we go yet again, Ghana taking on Uruguay. Everyone must be getting used to the teams at this point. Some dangerous ones still remaining in the competition. Zen Headbutt missing to begin with. A big Drain Punch to the Taurus and a Drain Punch back to the Hitmonchan, both connecting. Thunderbolt, super effective to the Poliwrath and it's paralyzed. There's a Match Punch as well. And another Zen Headbutt, this time taken out the Hitmonchan, and we're down to 2-on-1 now. Well, 1-on-1. Close combat connecting to the Electros. Doesn't do too much. Giga Drain does connect, and it's enough to give the win to Ghana. Up next, Turkey takes on Iran. Here we go. Turkey versus Iran. Haxorus and Talonflame versus Persian and Arcanine. Only one team can advance onwards. Extreme Speed to begin on the Haxorus. Doesn't do too much. Flare Blitz connects as well to the Persian. Player Rough to the Haxorus as well is obviously a target here in this one. Earthquake connects to both Arcanine and Persian, doing some decent damage there. Brave Bird as well to the Arcanine. No team members down yet until that Player Rough. Haxorus is down and it's 2-on-1 now. Talonflame in trouble. Extreme Speed takes it out and gives the win to Iran. And it's Tunisia versus France up next. Tunisia with Sigilyph and Sandslash taking on France with Delphox and Melodic. Tough matchup here. Dazzling Gleam to begin things and an Air Slash to the Melodic. Flinching it. Big Earthquake connects, doing very big damage to both Melodic and Delphox. Dazzling Gleam connects again. A Psychic also connects. Ice Beam to the Sigilyph and we're down to 2-on-1. Another Earthquake and it takes out Delphox and Melodic. Big win for Tunisia. Next up, Netherlands versus Ecuador. Team Netherlands with Floatzel and Swanna taking on Ecuador with Torterra and Altaria. Netherlands starting things off with an Ice Spinner there, taking out Altaria in one hit. A Wood Hammer to the Floatzel, and it's already a 1-on-1 fight in this one. Swanna versus Torterra. Hurricane connects and gives the win to Netherlands just like that. Next up, Australia take on Jordan. Australia with Kangaskhan and Crobat taking on Jordan with Komo-O and Gligar. Australia being one of the most dominant teams so far. And an Earthquake here gonna miss a lot of people. Hits the Komo-O and we're down to 2-on-1 already. Earthquake back does extremely little damage to the Kangaskhan. Brave Bird connects. Double Edge also connecting, almost enough to take it out, but not quite. And Acrobatics also hitting the Kangaskhan. Roost from the Crobat. regaining some health, and from Gligor as well, also regaining some health here. But it is 2-on-1. It's going to be tough to manage. A Brave Bird doing a lot of damage, and a double edge, enough to give the win to Australia. And it's time for the final matchup of the round of 16 as Switzerland take on Colombia. And here we go, the tactics of Switzerland versus the absolute vibes of Colombia, everyone's favourite team. Starting things off with a Revelation Dance, which usually does more damage. Not quite enough though. We do burn the Watchog, but a Stone Edge takes out the Oricorio quite quickly. Hypnosis missing that time. Ice Shard connects to the Shadow though. Heat Wave again, not quite enough to take out the Mamoswine, and the Hypnosis connects. And it's just GG from there. Ice Shard connects and gives the win to Switzerland. The tactics of Switzerland, just too much in that last fight. But we are down to the final 8. We are closing in on the end of this one. It's getting serious. There's not too many matches remaining now. And we're going to kick off the quarterfinals with Ivory Coast versus Mexico. And here we go, it's quarterfinals time as Mexico take on Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast running under the radar on this one, but Mexico have been a strong team throughout. So this is going to be an interesting matchup here. Close combat to begin on the Luxray, not doing too much damage. Big Earthquake connects, almost taking out the Luxray, not quite enough. U-turn doing a lot of damage to the Crocodile, and a Wild Charge taking out the Hawluchan, one hit, and we're down. Again, the recoil damage takes out Luxray. Close combat to the Crocodile, and the win goes to Ivory Coast. And the next quarterfinal matchup is Ghana versus Iran. Both teams in this match quietly advancing in the tournament, getting to the quarterfinals, both doing a good job in this one. And here we go, starting things off with Extreme Speed, not doing too much. Play Rough does do a bit of damage to the Hitmonchan though, and a Drain Punch, dragging back all of that health into Hitmonchan. Play Rough again to Hitmonchan, trying to lower the health. Flare Blitz to the Electros, not quite enough to take it out. Another Drain Punch to Persian, takes it out. And we're down to 2-on-1. A Thunderbolt to the Arcanine connects and gives the win to Ghana. It's time for the third quarterfinal matchup as Tunisia take on Netherlands. And here we go. Tunisia with Sigalith and Sandslash taking on Netherlands with Floatzel and Swanna. Two big teams here. Wave Crash almost taking out Sandslash in one, and a Surf will do the job. Sandslash is down and out already in this one. Psychic connects to the Floatzel, and we're down to 1-on-1 already. Hurricane connects, but not quite enough. Sigalith is confused though. Psychic not doing too much, and an Air Slash gives the win to Netherlands. And it's time for the final quarterfinal matchup as Australia face off against Switzerland. The Swiss team have been absolute menaces to face off against, but can Australia do the damage? Brave Bird to the Watchog to begin with, and a Drain Punch taking out the Watchog straight away. That was their main tactic, putting people to sleep, and it's not going to work in this one. Crobat down, and we're down to the two big behemoths of each team. Earthquake not enough to take out Kangaskhan. Drain Punch to the Mamoswine, regaining some health. Will it be enough? A Stone Edge not doing the job, and an Ice Shard from Mamoswine back to back, and Switzerland still pick up the win. And with that, we are down to our final four. Who would believe it? We have Ivory Coast, Ghana, Netherlands and Switzerland fighting it out to be Pokemon World Cup champions. But up first in the semi-finals, we have Ivory Coast versus Ghana. And it is time for the first semi-final matchup as Ivory Coast take on Ghana. Big matchup here. Only one can advance to the final. Close combat to the Electros to begin work here. Drain Punch to the Luxray doing decent damage. A Wild Charge to the Hitmonchan and a Giga Drain to the Persimmon as well. Everyone trying to regain health. That was the tactic of Team Ghana, but it's not enough. Close combat takes out Electros. Drain Punch to the Luxray, trying to get some health back. Wild Charge to the Hitmonchan, and Ivory Coast are going to the final. And it's time for the other semi-final matchup as Netherlands take on Switzerland. Netherlands floating under the radar a little bit in this tournament, all the way to the semi-finals versus the tactics of Switzerland that have yet to be defeated. But a wave crash takes out Mama Swine turn 1 and a serve to the Watchog. And Switzerland are in trouble. Floatzel is asleep though. Hurricane to the Watchog, almost out. Hypnosis missing the Swanna, and Switzerland are in danger, and a serve connects, and just like that, Netherlands are through to the final. We have watched history unfold here, and this is your final for the Pokemon World Cup 2026. Ivory Coast and the Netherlands are going to battle it out to see who becomes champions of the world. But before that, we still have to settle who's finishing in third place as Ghana take on Switzerland. And here we go, Switzerland favourites by the looks of it, going into the semi-final matchups, eliminated by Netherlands. Still fighting for third place though in this one. Hypnosis missing, Drain Punch to the Watchog, and it's not looking good for Switzerland again. For just the second time this tournament, their tactic has failed, and it's all looking downhill for them right now. Drain Punch from Hitmonchan takes out the Mamoswine, and third place in the World Cup is Ghana. And this is it, the moment everyone has been waiting for, the final of the Pokemon World Cup 2026. It's Ivory Coast versus Netherlands. And here we go, Ivory Coast with the team of Luxray and Passimian taking on the Netherlands with Floatzel and Swanna. What a matchup to end the World Cup. Wave Crash connecting to the Luxray. Hurricane misses from Swanna. Rock Slide connects, does big damage to both Swanna and Floatzel here. Wild Charge to the Swanna, and Swanna is down. Netherlands in big trouble now. Ivory Coast looking solid. An Ice Spinner not really doing much to Luxray, and a close combat of Floatzel, and Floatzel goes down. And your winners of the World Cup 2026 are Ivory Coast. The boyhood dream has come true for Ivory Coast as they snatch victory from the Netherlands, taking the win and becoming your World Cup 2026 champions. What a rush, what a ride, unbelievable journey, and massive congratulations to the winners in Ivory Coast. Did any of you guys predict that right? Let me know in the comments if you predicted Ivory Coast to take it all the way and pick up the win. What a way to end the video. And if you did enjoy it, please, please, please like it up. This took a long time to create. Subscribe if you haven't already for more videos. And other than that, I will see you all next time.